Okay, right now, guys, we're going to go over our base coverage and run fits, and hopefully this provides some clarity, and you can review this as many times as you need until you understand what our base defense is. Okay, let's start with our rip Liz call. So we're always going to have a rip Liz call. The order of operations is big field and then the passing strength. So the passing strength is always going to be to the number of receivers. So if we are ever on a hash or on a side of the field, we are going to make a rip Liz call to the field. If we are in the middle of the field, then we are just going to count the number of wide receivers and we'll make a rip Liz to that side. And so in the event that it's 2-by-2 split, first we go to the side of the field and then we go to the side of the back. Okay, so right here we are in Liz. Okay, so we're assuming that either we are on the right hash and the field is to the left, or we are assuming that we are in the middle of the field and so we're going with in 2-by-2 split, it's the side of the running back. Okay, so let's start with the D line. Defensive line, the 3 tech goes to the strength. Okay, so our 3 tech is here. Our 2-eye tech goes away from the strength. The star and the field safety always go towards the strength, and the whip and the boundary safety always go away from the strength. Okay, let's get into our run fits. The defensive end, you're going to be in a 5 tech and have the C gap. The 3 tech is going to have the B gap. This Mike is going to have this open A gap in front of him. The nose is going to have the A gap. That's our 2-eye tech. And this 5 tech, the whip and the defensive end are going to make a heavy call. And this defensive end is going to slant into the B gap. And that leaves this open C gap for the whip. Okay. Okay, let's talk about our coverages. Anytime we have a heavy call between the whip and the defensive end, it's paired with a boss call. Okay, so the whip calls heavy, heavy, heavy to the defensive end, and then the defensive end calls boss, boss, boss to the 2-eye tech. What this means is that the defensive end is going to slant into this B gap, and this nose is initially going to penetrate this A gap. If we get a pass read, okay, so that the offensive line is pass setting, this 2-eye tech is going to loop out to the C gap. Okay, so that's all boss means. It's just we have if it turns into a pass, then we're looping around. Okay, the key here is you're not looping immediately. You're getting a good read, and once you understand that it's pass, then we loop. Okay, in 2-by-2, the corner and the safety are going to be in mix. Okay, mix is the same thing as palms. It's a read 2, so both of their eyes should be on this number 2 receiver. Okay, and remember, vertical is just the depth of the linebacker. Okay, so if this number 2 goes under, all right, this safety is going to mirror to clear, and the corner is then going to lock on the number 1 or be man-to-man on the number 1. If this number 2 goes out, the corner is going to play a squat technique to cover the number 2, and the safety is going to work man-to-man to the number 1. If this number 2 goes vertical, and vertical means it passes the depth of the linebacker. It doesn't matter where he goes after that. Okay. The safety is going to take him. So the safety is going to be man to man on the number 2, which leaves the corner man to man on the number 1. All right. It's the same thing here on the backside. All right. So let's talk about the star and the whip. They have slightly different. They have slightly different responsibilities because of where the back is located. Okay. So your read as the whip is you want to sit in the curl of 2. Okay. So if number 2 goes under, okay, as the whip, you are then going to get your eyes to the number 1 and go sit in the curl of the number 1, wherever that is. Remember, that just means you put yourself in between the quarterback and the number 2. Okay. So where you go depends on where the number 2 is going, right? So if the number 2 runs, some sort of a slant here, so the number 2 goes under. Okay, we pass that to the mic, in. We get our eyes to 1, and then we just go sit in the curl of 1. Okay, that's if the number 2 goes under. If the number 2 goes vertical, okay, we're gonna sit in the curl of that number 2, right? And then just get our eyes to the quarterback. Okay. If that number 2 goes immediately out, and we're probably going to get something like this. Okay. In our base, we never chase the number 2 out because the corner is going to be sitting there. The safety is going to be working over the top. So we want to come sit right here because this is the new number 2. Okay. So that's where we want to sit in that curl. Okay. So you can think of it as you make a read of the number 2 whip, and based on what the number 2 does, that's where you're going. Okay. Now the star, yours is a little different because you're going to sit in the curl of number 2 until the running back threatens the flat, and then you have to take the running back. Okay. So if you get fast out by the running back, okay, you have to go immediately to that, and the mic is going to push to take your position. Okay. So the mic, you have to be aware of that, right? And so let's go through this. If we get an under here, you're going to give in to the mic, okay? And then you're going to look up, and you're just going to go to the curl or get under number 1, okay? Now, if this guy goes vertical, okay, you are going to sit in the curl of this number 2 and trail until either the running back threatens the flat or until the number 1 pulls you off. Okay. So if this were a developing play, all right, number 2 goes vertical, you're going to sit right here. And as soon as this number 1 comes, you're just going to get in that throwing window right there until the running back threatens the flat. And then we go and we rally to the flats. Okay. The mic, you're almost always going to be working to the side of the running back because you relate to number 3 in the hole. All right. So if we look at final, this is the 1, this is the 2, and this is the 3. So you would come here and just sit in this window right here. Okay. So you're always looking for, someone to threaten, this space here. And it's almost always going to be a crosser. Okay. And it can come from either side. All right. And then, of course, Mike, if we get fast out, okay, the The star's got to go, and then you got to push over, and you're now taking over the star's position. Okay. Okay. So uh, if the number two attaches as a tight end to the passing strength, remember we're in Liz here. Okay. We anytime the number two attaches or is close to the line of scrimmage, we check to hammer. Okay, so what is hammer? Hammer means the corner is man to man on the one, and the safety has number two out or vertical. And remember, once that wide receiver passes linebacker depth, okay, you're man to man no matter where he goes. Okay. The only exception to this is if this guy goes under, runs a route like this. You are going to mirror to clear. And once you're certain that he's not trying to trick us and turn up, okay, so you're just certain that he's just running across the field. Now you're just going to get your eyes to the quarterback and look for work. Okay, so that's hammer. All right. You'll notice on the backside, because we're 2x2 split, it's the same thing. We have mix, heavy calls, and boss calls. Anytime the number two is attached to the tight end, the end moves into a sixer technique. Okay, so what we call this is we're in a six tech, which is head up on the tight end. And our goal here is to get knockback and then fold into the C gap. Okay. One of the things I'll note here, if this guy goes under, okay, so let's say he goes here, right? We're going to mirror to clear here. Okay. We're going to get an in and into the mic. Okay. And then this star is going to start working out to cover the A. We're man to man out here on the corner. The mic is going to carry this route until the edge of the tackle box and then pass it to the whip. Okay. So if we're running something out here, like, let's just say we're running like a smash concept out here. Okay. So in a smash concept, number two is vertical. So we take the number two. The number one is playing squat, which means he's sinking under the number two, but he's man to man on this guy. Okay. And the whip is going to be somewhere in here, right? Until the mic says out, 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 out. And then he has to get his attention over to this H route. Okay. So that's how we would cover that. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Okay. Anytime that the number two attaches away from the passing strength. So remember, we're in Liz here. Okay. So our star, all right, is on the left side because the passing strength is to the left, either because the field is that way. Okay. So like we'd be on the right hash here, or because there's more wide receivers on this side of the field. Okay. So we're in Liz here and they attach this number two. In this case, what we have to do is we have to call Liz bump. And what the bump does is the bump tells the three tech to go away from the passing strength. Okay. Now, because this number two is attached as a tight end, we're in a sixer position where we're going to get knocked back and we're going to fold into this C gap. Remember the whip, you have the D gap. And remember, now our open B gap is here. Our 2I tech is here, which means our open B gap is here. So we're going to make a heavy call. Remember, anytime we're to the side of the 2I, we make a heavy call. And in a heavy call, okay, the end is going to slant to the B gap. Okay. This nose, this 2I tech is going to play this A gap for run. And if he gets a pass read, then he's going to loop around to the C gap. Okay. You'll notice here that because we're in base and we're in 2x2 split, we're in mix. And because we're in 2x2 with the two attached, we're in hammer. Okay. Okay, let's get into trips strong. Okay. What trips strong means, trips means there's three wide receivers. Whoops. There's three wide receivers. One, two, three. Strong means that the back is to the trip side. Okay. Okay. So remember, anytime we're in trips, we have to bump the line. Okay. Which means we put the three tech away from the strength. Remember, we're in Liz here. All right. The two I tech is to the left, which means we have an open B gap, which means we have to have a heavy call. Okay. And heavy call again means that the defensive end, his run fit is into this B gap. This two I tech is going to play the run fit to the A gap. And if he gets pass, then he's going to loop out to the C gap. Okay. Let's talk about what push means. Okay. Oh, let's talk about alignment. So the corner is out here on the number one. The star is outside leverage on the number two. The Mike is going to apex the number three and man on the line of scrimmage. And the field safety is over the number three. Okay. We'll get to the backside in a minute. Okay. Because the back is to the trip side, we're in trip strong, we have to make what's called a push call. Okay. So the Mike tells the whip push alert, push alert. Okay. And all that means is if we get fast out by this running back, the Mike has to go take him, and the whip pushes into the Mike's position. Okay. That's all that means. All right. The corner is locked on the number one, which means the corner is man to man on this number one. Okay. The star and the field safety are mixing off of this number three. Okay. So what that means is if this number three goes out, the star takes the number three, and the field safety takes the number two. Okay. And this includes bubbles. Okay. So if we get a bubble out here, that's an out route. The star's got to come here, and the field safety has to take this number two's route. Okay. Okay. If the Y goes vertical, which remember it's linebacker depth, so that'll be right there. Okay. The Y goes vertical. That means the star is man to man on the number two, and the field safety is man to man on the number three, and that's wherever he goes after he goes vertical. Okay. Okay. All right. So we have those. So this Mike, okay, so we're in a push. Okay. So like we said, if we get a fast out by this running back, you are going to push. I don't want you like crossing the line of scrimmage. I just want you, it's called stacking at the top of the zone. So matching the route horizontally. Okay. And then the whip, you're going to push into the Mike's position. Okay. Also, if we get any kind of out of the back, okay, so let's say it's not a fast out, but it's a very casual, like swing route. It might even be a release route. The Mike, you're going to go take that too, and the whip, you're going to push over. Okay. All right, let's go over our responsibilities here. Okay, so Mike, you're a wall three player unless you get a push alert. Okay, so what that means is if three is in, okay, you are going to wall three, try to make him, you really want a collision and then get your eyes to the quarterback because you want to get the free safety time to come over and get that route. Okay. Similarly, if this guy goes vertical, you want a collision, make him run the bump, and you want to stay under until number 2 pulls you off. And then you would come sit in this 2 window. And remember, you always have to be conscious of this A leaking out because then you're going to have to rally to the flat. Okay. So that's what a wall 3 player is. If number 3 goes out, like let's say we get a bubble, okay, you're immediately going to get your eyes to number 2, okay, and you're just going to sit in that window until the running back threatens the flat. Okay. All right. So if we get a sprint out, so normally in a sprint out, the running back comes to set the edge. So we're getting like reach blocks here. And then the quarterback is sprinting out. You trigger immediately. And you want to attack the outside shoulder and then try to go get the quarterback. Again, the whip, because we're in a push alert, you are now going to be the wall 3 player of the mic. Okay. Okay, so let's look at some stuff that we saw this last week. Okay, if this Y goes under, okay, in, and then the mic, you are now matching this under route. Even if it goes all the way through, you're matching that. Okay, that leaves 2 routes left. We get a bubble here. Okay, so you're going to mirror to clear. This safety is going to work over. Okay, this guy ran a 9. We're in lock here, so you're 1-on-1. And then if this A leaks out, right, the mic's going to take them. Okay. All right, so let's say we get fast out here. The mic's got to go immediately. Okay, which pushes the whip into this wall 3. If we get like a post here, the whip, you're going to want to come and try to reroute this. Okay, because the 3 is vertical, the free safety is going to take them. Okay, we got a 9 here. We're man-to-man on the corner, so we always take him. And then we're just going to run a little curl route here. Okay. The star is going to take that. And then the whip is going to end up right here in this curl window. Okay, that's how that would look, just to give you guys an example. Okay, on the backside, gold. Gold on the cadence, you're going to move up into a linebacker position. You should be right here. You're looking for any kind of run that comes out here, okay? You're going to come. The second thing you are looking for, gold, is any kind of quick, short route that you can step in front of, okay? In gold, we are man-to-man. This corner is man-to-man on that number 1, okay? So wherever that number 1 goes, if he runs a 9, we play the 9. If he runs a slant, we play the slant, right? If he runs a post, the corner is going to play the post, okay? The key here, so that's easy. The key here is you're up here waiting for the run, okay? And if it's a pass, you just want to get under this 1's route if they try to do something short, okay? That's your key, okay? The second thing you want to do, so let's say this guy runs a 9, okay? So the corner's got to go with him. Now you want to get your eyes, okay, to the other side of the field because now you're looking for something like this, okay? That's what you're looking for right there. All right. Okay, so that is trip strong. Okay, key things here. is we're lock, mix, mix, and then we have a push alert. We're gold on the backside. Okay. Okay. Let's go to Trey Strong. Trey Strong is the exact same thing. The difference between trips and Trey is the number 3 is attached as a tight end. Okay. Everything is the same. We bump the line. Okay. So the 3 tech is to this side. The mic and the whip, you're going to line up in open gaps in front of you. Okay. So your run fit for the whip is this A gap, which doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the mic. Your run fit is this open B gap. We're still in a sixer, so we're going to get knockback and try to fold into the C gap. This field safety and this star, you guys are responsible for these gaps over here. Okay, the D gap and then the alley here. Okay. You'll notice that we're still lock, so we're still man to man on the number 1. The only difference here is we're in hammer. Okay, and we know in hammer, okay, we're man to man here, and then the field safety has number 3 out and vertical. Okay. If this number 3 goes under, okay, so let's say he runs one of these routes, we mirror to clear. Once we're certain that he's going, then we just get our eyes on the quarterback and we look for work. Okay. We still have a push alert. Okay. We still have a push alert. Okay. And so we're still working out there. And whoops. And so, and we're still gold on the backside. All right. Okay, so that's all Trey is. Trey Strong. Trey, the number 3 is attached, and Strong because the back is to the trip side. All right. Any questions there? I don't think so. Okay, so now let's go to trips weak. Okay, trips weak. Trips because there's 3 wide receivers, and then weak because now the back is to the single side. Okay, how does this change? Okay, let's go to the single side first. We are now playing cloud to this side because we have 2 wide receivers to worry about. Okay, what we really want to do is in cloud is create a triangle with the whip, the boundary safety, and the corner. Okay, so the corner, your job is to get hands on the number 1. Coach Craig wants us in a press man position, so you'll be up here. Outside leverage, get your hands on, force him to come inside. Okay. We're playing deep half here. Okay. So as soon as he goes vertical, you have this number 1. And we are just going to sink under this number 1 until this A threatens the flat. When they throw to the flat, we rally to the flat. Okay. So the whip, what we're trying to do, so let's say we get, let's say we get some sort of route like this. Okay. So hopefully we're going to get hands on here. Okay. We're going to sink under. The boundary safety is going to go cover that number 1. This A is leaking out of the back. And the whip should be somewhere around here. Okay. So we're creating this nice triangle. Okay. That's what we're trying to create in cloud. Just a triangle. If they throw, we're going to vice this tackle right here, just like this. Okay. So the whip, when we are in trips weak, okay, your primary concern is the back coming out of the backfield. Okay. So let's say we get something like this. Okay. So hopefully we're going to get a reroute. We're going to get hands on. You're going to squeeze this route. The corner is going to come take this. You're going to start to move in here. Okay. So again, we have this nice little triangle going on right here. Okay. And then if they throw to the back, oh, if they throw to the back, then we're prepared to do that. Oof, sorry, guys. What is going on? Sorry, guys. Let's see. There's Trey Strong. There it is. Sorry. If they do throw to the back, then we're just going to vice this tackle right here. Okay. So another way to think of it, guys, is to the boundary, they have 2 receivers and we have 3 defenders. To the field, they have 3 receivers and we have 4 defenders. Okay. Again, all the stuff we're gonna be in trips bump. Okay, we're gonna be in trips bump. We're gonna make a heavy and a boss call. All right. All right, 2x2 stack. We're gonna be in what's called mixed switch. All that means is the corner is gonna take the first outside route. The field safety is going to take the first inside route. And this star is responsible for the curl flat and the A coming out. Same thing out here, okay? If the point runs inside, then the boundary safety is going to take the point. If this guy goes outside, the corner is going to take that. And the whip is just trying to get under that route, or they're responsible for a flat. Okay, so sometimes what we'll see is we'll see this guy to come out to block the corner, and then they'll throw quickly here. So the whip, boom, you got to attack that. Okay, you gotta go meet that at the point of attack. You have to be aware of that. Okay. Okay, so that's mixed switch. Okay. Trips bump, we're gonna play box. Okay. All that means is the safety, you're gonna get hands on. So you're gonna just kind of punch this number 1 in the chest. And then you are going to sit in this curl flat area. Okay, right here. The first outside route will be man-to-man with the corner. The first inside route will be man-to-man with the field safety will take man-to-man. And the box, you're just going to sit in this curl flat and try to read the eyes of the quarterback. We still have a push alert. Okay. So if this guy comes out, we are still pushing with our mic and the whip on the backside. Okay. All right. Okay, let's talk about 21 personnel. 21 personnel, of course, means we have 2 running backs and 1 tight end. Okay. I think you understand this. We would be in hammer. Okay. To the side with the attach. We would be in a 6er position. Okay. Uh, we would we would be in Liz here because either we're on the right hash or because there's more wide receivers to this side. All right. In the open 2 gap, or in the open 2I, in the open B gap to the side of the 2I, we have a heavy, and then we have a boss. So we're going to come up for the run fit into the A gap. And if it ends up being a pass, then we're going to loop around. Heavy to the whip means that your run fit is the C gap. Remember, when we're in hammer to this side, okay, so we're man to man here, wherever he goes. And then you this boundary safety, you're just looking for work. Okay. So boundary safety, you can help this corner, but really what you're looking for is something to come out of here that you can go help on. Okay. Okay. And that's how we handle 21 personnel. Okay. Hopefully, I got through everything. One of the things is we can tag hammer to anything. Okay. So let's say that like we're on the goal line and I call base hammer. That checks out of mix and into hammer. Okay. So we would be hammer, which means we're man, 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 man. Okay. Linebackers still do all the same stuff. That's really going to be for our red zone. Okay. Hopefully this is helpful, guys.